Hi everybody. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Amber Reid embarrassing herself in Foodie Beauty's chat and also being caught out there in a blatant lie. She clearly told her audience that she's not going to be on YouTube, that she's not going to be on social media. And this is why you will never have a fantastic relationship with your audience when you continue to deceive them. Also, Foodie Beauty, the final frontier. So what's happening with Foodie Beauty is she's created a GoFundMe, which has had numerous problems, and this is just part one of it, okay? And more drama between her and her husband, and my thoughts on the drama with Pete's, Foodie Beauty's friend, actually putting his own financial future on the line for Foodie Beauty. So we're going to get into all the drama, everything I'm saying, just for entertainment purposes only. Please don't take anything I say seriously. I'm sharing my own opinions, not facts, and publicly accessible information first made public by public figures. Please don't go to these people's channels and leave mean comments. Entertainment purposes only. Okay, the thing that really surprises me about Amber is not that she's a pathological deceiver and a liar, because you are, Amber. That's all you'll ever be. It's that this person continuously tells people lies publicly and then for some unknown reason wants to show people that they're lying. Case in point, Amber said that she is leaving the internet. She's not going to be on Instagram. She's not going to be on TikTok. She's not going to be on YouTube at all. This was a blatant lie. I've already showed you that this person has been reposting things on TikTok. So also, like, it's also common sense that like a person that their whole life is the internet and they go out once a week with mommy, like, obviously, why lie about being on the internet? So in Foodie Beauty's live stream chat, I know how it feels to love someone, but know deep down it is better to only be friends. I'm proud of you for your strength.
Well, that's a nice move.
She doesn't even believe in who you are. Remember, Amber, she thinks what you're doing on a daily basis is wrong. You do remember that. How desperate can a person be to continue a friendship and throw money every month at Chantal because she's a member of her thing? So every month, whatever she's paying, $5, Amber's paying Chantal $5 as a member. But to give her $20 when she doesn't even think that you should be allowed to love who you love, that is wild to me. That in and of itself is enough. But let's go further. Okay. You know how it feels to love someone. Amber, the only person you've ever loved is yourself and destiny. You don't love. You try to move in with girlfriends ASAP. Okay, please, so that they could be your caretaker. Better to be friends. You need to be a friend in order to have one. You're not anybody's friend. Oh, that's right. I forgot. You and Alexis are friends. Right. Okay. Well, I hope that anyone that enjoys Amber's friendship enjoys it, because on this is a vocabulary channel. Honestly, the audacity of this woman to say that she loves people, then why you treat them like crap? Okay. I'm proud of you for your strength. Amber, you're an adult. Chantal got dumped. She can't live in a place with no AC and she got dumped, okay? And she's scamming her audience, which we're about to get to. Honestly, the point of the whole story is not only is what Amber's saying total BS, but Amber, why do you continue to tell your audience a lie and then show them that it was a lie? It's one thing that you're a pathological deceiver, but why would you show them that you're lying? I'm not going to go on YouTube. I'm not going to be on YouTube. Goes and watches everything that's going on with Foodie Beauty on YouTube. I'm not going to go on social media. Goes and reposts things on TikTok. Make it make sense. Okay. So other than Amber being caught lying for the millionth time that she was going to stay off of social media, other than that, whenever I talk about this, sometimes people tell me that they don't know what I mean. So I'm going to briefly describe to you what I mean, okay? So Amber says that she supports Chantal after their numerous fights and after Chantal told us that she genuinely doesn't like Amber.
Amberlynn, you're a fake. Don't ever talk to me again. Ever. Live the night, sucking up. Yes, I'm raging. Amberlynn pops into, so sorry. She's the fakest on YouTube, and I can completely see what people see now. Like, the one is fake as call me a liar and fake? Are you kidding me? She is a pathological liar. She is a pathological liar. I see it.
Years ago, and by the way, this was before Chantal had 100,000 subscribers, and this is before she had a check mark. Some of the screenshots I'm going to show you are screenshots where she doesn't have a check mark, or she doesn't have 100,000 because it was years ago before she did. Amber went in the middle of the night, hurt Chantal's feelings, okay? The thing is that Chantal made numerous live streams, okay? Numerous live streams in which she called out Amber. She said that she was a liar. She said, the friendship is done. But this is the most important thing. The way that Chantal was talking, it was obvious that she had a lot of anger towards Amber beforehand, okay? And by the way, there's a very old video that I'm not going to include here that when Amber was becoming popular and Chantal was just starting, there was a drama because Chantal was talking about how she wouldn't use a scooter, but other people like Amber do. So they've had like rivalry for a long time. They were fake friends, frenemies. And I always said, I know that their friendship is fake. So Amber said that in the middle of the night, her therapist at 4 a.m. told her to go and pretty much emotionally hurt Foodie Beauty. It is outrageous. Foodie felt betrayed. And like I said, this is a screenshot without a check mark for her. She hadn't hit 100,000 subscribers a few years ago. Liar Lynn basically saying her therapist advised her to apologize. Oh, and did your therapist also advise you to add that you found beige and gray entertaining? I'm moving to another planet. Bye. And this is when this is during the years of when Amber was with Wifey. And Amber used to say, I'm moving to another planet. By the way, fun fact, later Amber had said that pretty much Chantal wasn't really her friend because Chantal supported Nikocado Avocado and Amber doesn't like him. Okay. The point of the story is Chantal has continuously said that she didn't like Amber. Here's another screenshot saying that she wants to just stay away. Ask for ALR. I don't hold any grudges, etc. This is after it had been a few weeks after they had that fight, but I would rather just keep away. The point is, they are now back to being frenemies, fake friends, because they both have no choices. Both don't have anybody that would be their friend. However, this is my main thing that I want to get across. In my personal opinion, when Chantal got angry at Amber years ago and exposed her and live streamed about her, it was obvious that she had pent up anger towards Amber because she even says, well, I see it now. Everybody says she's a pathological liar. Chantal, the way that she spoke, she also, I couldn't find the clip, it doesn't matter, but she also said that she just absolutely did not care for Amber, didn't like her at all. She said, I don't like Amberlynn at all. So what I'm saying is, it wasn't just that argument that they had. The reality of the situation was that Chantal always didn't care for Amber, and all that pent up anger was finally released when Amber betrayed her. Chantal, Amber's not your friend. Amber, you're saying that you support somebody who has extensively said how much she doesn't care for you. Where do you draw the line? I highly advise dignity, and I think that you should have some type of care for yourself being as a person to say, this person, Chantal, doesn't like me. I'm not going to support her. Never mind how many times Chantal has said that she doesn't support Amber's lifestyle. This is just, honestly, y'all deserve each other. Chantal, Amber, you deserve each other. You support her so much, but you have to give her an extra $20. Here's a good question. Amber, why don't you go and support Foodie's mission to get to Canada? How come Amber hasn't donated to her friend Chantal to get to Canada? Here's the thing. She might have anonymously. That's a thing. I just want to say that. But you know what, Amber? Honestly, like, it's so sad. So Amberlynn is friends with Alexis, a person that exposed her. And now Amberlynn is again supportive of a person that said that she doesn't support her lifestyle and a person that said that she really doesn't care for her. Chantal said, you're lying. She live streamed about you, said she didn't care for you at all, said a lot of negative things about you. So you are currently, Amber, friends with Alexis and Chantal, people that have gone on record to expose you. It's a wonderful time to be alive, girls. Okay, so let's talk about Foodie Beauty. There's quite a bit to discuss, but let's start with her fake GoFundMe. So she created a GoFundMe. Well, the truth is, Pete's created a GoFundMe, her ex-boyfriend and her friend. Now, before we get started, so obviously her GoFundMe is a scam. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you in a few words why it's a scam. We didn't talk about this the first go around, so now is a great time to bring it up. And then we're going to talk about how her GoFundMe has actually been reported by her audience. Okay. So when a person what I mean is Chantal, Foodie Beauty, Everyday Miriam, continues to ask for money and says that it's for a certain cause, and then show you that it's really not, that she's using the money for herself, then people believe it's a scam. Also, if I continuously ask my audience for money, which I don't, but if I did, for things that I could pay for myself, they would think that it's a scam too. Anybody would. Here's a perfect example. So remember how, first of all, she has been asking for money for a long time. First, she asked for that kitten in Kuwait, got a bunch donated, and you could see that she was buying other things with it, okay? Then she got into massive trouble, had to run away from Kuwait because she was a fugitive, and it was just very bad. Another time, this is even in Canada, she was saying that she wasn't going to take her cats to the vet, and then somebody donated like $200, right? And she still never took her cats to the vet. She said, thank you for the money, and still didn't take her cats to the vet. And if you know, in Canada, sometimes let's just be fair, she would ask like rarer than, when she was in Kuwait, when she was in Syria. But when she would receive money for a certain thing in Canada, she would clearly not use it for such thing. Okay? No. She also recently had asked for money to go traveling and didn't receive any. Just keep that in mind. And of course, the most egregious scam that Chantal has pulled is that she did a fundraiser while living in Syria, asking for money for a child that supposedly was part of their family, okay? And right after getting said money for the child, she by magic, I love it when magic gets involved, get your own channel, magic. It's obviously, I'm being facetious, it's not by magic, it's called a scam. So by magic, she, right after getting all that money for the child that she was definitely going to give to the child and everything, and the child's family for the child's education and whatever, she by magic ended up in Qatar with air conditioning. She didn't have any air conditioning in Syria. Ended up in a fantastic hotel room, ordering room service. Now, just ask yourself this question. She was struggling in Syria, correct? She was struggling living there with the internet, with the food. She was struggling where, electricity, just problems there for her, okay? No AC. And she was struggling, struggling, struggling. If she had the money beforehand, she would have flown to a different city, and she would have been there, with AC and different types of food and all this other stuff if she had had the money. She obviously did not. She common sense used the money from the girl that she supposedly raised money for. Not everything. I want you to know that, in my opinion, Chantal and Amber manipulate and scam in a particular way. It's honestly rudimentary. It's the same way that Amber manipulates. It's where it looks like it could be okay, but it's obviously a scam. You understand what I'm saying? No, she didn't use all of the money. It didn't seem that way to me, probably. And also to look good. You understand? She wanted to look good. She wanted to be the hero in the situation. She didn't use all of the money from that kid, but she used quite a bit for herself. And here's my point. How would any of us ever know if she didn't show that she was in Qatar? She wasn't even brilliant enough to not show that. If you are scamming, why do you show that you're scamming? You know why? Because these type of people like Chantal, Amberlynn, scammers can help themselves. Now, the reason that I gave you a comprehensive history of this is to show you about the scam now. But just think about it. What are the chances of somebody struggling in a country, not having electricity, not having lights, not having the food, and most importantly, in her case, she's severely ill. I don't know if anybody actually takes the time to understand this woman has uncontrolled, unmedicated diabetes. I say that in every single video because it's very serious to do that. Okay, that leads to only one place. So this person is struggling without AC, without everything, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as they do this fundraiser, they magically, by magic, have the money to go to another country. She clearly used some of the money for herself. It's obvious. And her answer to this, I would never scam this girl. Well, you lie as often as a Kermit gets his day on YouTube, please. Okay, so Pete's created a GoFundMe for Chantal and it was able to raise $400. Before we get into it, I just like to say I do not understand why this woman needs more than 1,000. All right, so she needs 1,000, supposedly, allegedly, to go to Canada. She doesn't need for her audience, first of all, to pay for that. I am strongly opposed to scammers getting their audience to pay for everything. Yes, I'm always of the opinion that, hey, if you want to donate to somebody, and it is your money, do what you want with it. But realize that she's manipulating you. She knows that the audience, listen to me and what I'm going to tell you right now, because this is for real. My opinion is, but I'm 100 on it. Chantal knows that her audience is desperate for her to go to Canada and bees and, go to Starbucks and go get food and go get nashies and, start dating. She knows you're desperate for that content. And so therefore, what she's doing is she is demanding that you pay for that content. Chantal, you go pay for that content. You've made quite a bit of money on YouTube. You go pay for it. Let your family go pay for it. It is wild. I am all for donating if you want to, but not to an obvious scammer. Okay. So, you know what? People donated. Y'all want to donate. Whoever's donating to this, okay, enjoy. So, obviously, this has severe implications. This GoFundMe has severe implications for Pete's because Chantal wrote that it has already been reported. Some people reported the GoFundMe, so hold off on donations until we appeal and answer their questions. You people reporting are so, and have no lives whatsoever. LMAO. I'm going to tell you this. You, Chantal, have no life whatsoever. You married a complete stranger. The absolute, and it has to be said, lunacy of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and harassing your family with it. You should not have married a complete stranger just to stick it. You dated somebody and they broke up with you and you wanted to stick it to them with a new person. I understand that. I do. But you don't ruin your life and ruin your family's life. It's bad enough that your family is known on YouTube because of you. But you went to a country that you admit, she admits she wasn't comfortable in Kuwait. She was less comfortable in Syria. Look, hot climates are not for Chantal. I think this is common sense, especially without AC. The woman has untreated, unmedicated diabetes. The woman needs certain amenities, needs certain things. So you marry a stranger. Now she's saying, oh, we're going to separate because of cultural differences. And you didn't think about this. You were so desperate for any stranger to marry you. And he married her for money. I'm 100 on that. It's my opinion, but it's common sense. The deal came to an end. So here's the thing. This is a scam. It was always a scam. You saying that these people reporting this scam, your GoFundMe, means that they have no lives. You couldn't even get a boyfriend in Canada, bro. That's all I have to say. You couldn't even get a boyfriend in Canada. What does that say about your opinions of other people? And by the way, I just want to make this real clear. There's nothing wrong with being single. I always advocate for y'all to be single if you want to be. It's a fantastic time in your life that you will never get back. And I say enjoy it. I've always said that. But she dares to say that other people don't have a life when she was so desperate to get a boyfriend in Canada and had to go to another country to get a boyfriend. I mean, I've never even heard of this. Chantal, the only reason you got with that guy to show and prove the haters who don't care anyways that somebody could marry you, sweetheart. You had a fake marriage, you had a fake relationship, and now you can't even get to Canada. Okay, here's the thing. This is important. If a GoFundMe is reported as a scam and the platform confirms it, the person who created the fundraiser will likely have to give the money back through GoFundMe's refund process. The platform's guarantee protects donors in case of misuse or fraud. Well, here's the thing. Chantal said in one of her videos that the bank account attached to the GoFundMe is hers, but Pete's had to create the GoFundMe because I think she said something about she's not allowed to create a GoFundMe when she is in Syria. Pete's is going to be responsible for the money that was raised. So far, $400, right? Well, what if people keep donating and ignore that post and it gets to 1,000 or 2,000? Then she's not going to want to give the money back, but he's going to be on the line for it. This is how she has continued to ruin his life. She put him in debt before, and now you're still putting him, because he's going to be responsible, and she's not going to want to give back the money. Well, I wanted to discuss some things that I saw in her last two live streams. So she's saying that she's having mixed feelings about it, but still moving, and that she's not built for this environment. The first thing I want to say about it is that it was common sense that you shouldn't have moved to a hot climate. And it was also common sense that you shouldn't have married a stranger. The audacity of this woman to actually, I think there has to be on some level where she believed he actually liked her. He liked the money. Now, as far as her having mixed feelings but still moving, I am telling you this in the simplest ways possible. When she gets to Canada, if she gets there, she at any moment will go back to visit him and be with him. And then all the money that you've donated would have been a lie, which is why I spent an extensive time talking about why it's a scam. If you, Chantal, if you could be arrested in Canada, it's just a shame that you're not, because you are the definition of what a swindler is, okay? So she then says that he's not planning on remarrying, but why would he stay single? Chantal, I believe, and this is just my opinion, I want to make it very clear, it's not a fact. I think there's other women in his life, and that's all I'll say. It was obvious he was cheating on you with various people. And I think he's going to remarry. If you really break up with him, of course he's going to remarry. Of course he's going to find somebody. But I think my opinion is, and again, just an opinion, not a fact. I think and I believe he's going to look for a woman who's making money, good money, because it's obvious. Like, here's the thing. She always likes to say, he made money before me. How do you think that he lived here? How do you think that he lived here? Chantal, a scammer is always going to get by with other scams. Look, honestly, this is ridiculous. This whole marriage relationship art that was never really married is so ridiculous. Go home, get your health in order, and try to salvage what's left of what you call what is this? Like, do you not understand that all this time you spent with this guy who's just not that into you, you could have gotten your health in order? So she then says that they're more affectionate with each other, knowing that they're separating. We don't want to separate, but we feel like, she feels like she has to. Okay. Their entire demeanor is the weirdest I've ever seen. I'm telling you something right now. It is, and by the way, I know that someone in the comments may come and say, well, I was very happy when I was separating. I am not talking about a mutual decision to separate where that leads both parties to be happy. It is clear that this woman wouldn't let go of a guy like for anything, right? For her to, this is what I'm trying to get at. For her to be moving back to Canada is common sense. He dumped her. It's common sense that he said to her, that he's not interested in her. Just like with BB, her other boyfriend, her breakup video. It's obvious that the guy didn't want to be with her. Just ask yourself this question. No matter how miserable she is where she's at, don't you think she would have stayed? She's one of these people that's obsessed with having a boyfriend, a guy. Oh, I'm married now. Ain't nobody out here believing you're married. Okay. Honestly, the way that they're acting so happy, it's very unusual. Usually, even if it's amicable, people don't get more affectionate. What does that mean, getting more affectionate? Why would you think about this. Why would you be affectionate with a person that you're dumping or you're leaving? No, no, no. She's not saying something here. There's something that's missing here. I believe that when she gets to Canada, I've said this many, many times, she's vulnerable in Canada, okay? She's very, very, very vulnerable there. That's why the content is better that she produces there, okay? Because she doesn't have, see, when she has somebody to like kind of protect her, it's different. Also, if she really is going to start living her life as she really is, look, all this religious pious stuff, it's all smoke and mirrors, like I always say. So if she actually starts living as herself, who she really is, the content is going to be more interesting only because she's no longer living a lie. What you are seeing from her is not real. She just did this to play a role. And it was obvious from how badly she was behaving. Like, you don't need to pretend to be someone that you're not to be successful on YouTube. It's actually the opposite. You need to actually be who you are to be successful on YouTube. So if she goes back to Canada and if she actually starts being who she is, people will watch more. That's why she's playing on your desire to see that by asking you to donate. But deeper than that, The way that her and her fake husband are acting right now is very unusual. I've seen couples that mutually have broken up. Nobody acts like this. She then says something very weird. Oh, we're having company soon. Why are you having company with a man who's dumping you? Like, what are you talking about? What company? I wouldn't even have a Kermit with a guy who was dumping me, okay? So, bottom line is trust and believe she would stay. She would stay if he didn't dump her. Then somebody asked her this question, it's like, do you like being a married woman or a not married woman? I mean, this is like this trolling at its finest. She's not married. She's like, oh, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. If you are, listen, I understand that people can have mixed feelings when they're married, but like a relationship that's working, you don't want to be single. Like, I'm just gonna, like, if you're looking for like a litmus test, okay, if you're looking for a litmus test on whether or not a relationship is working. If you have desires to be single, the relationship isn't working, in my opinion, okay? I've never seen anybody in such high spirits breaking up. It was a business arrangement, okay? I've seen people be more upset about somebody that we called a buddy in the old days, you know, a certain type of buddy. I've seen people be more upset when that breaks up than this supposed relationship and married. And then she's like, oh, I need to live stream in Canada until I get a car, until I get enough money to get a car. Listen, I'm going to put it to you in the simplest terms possible. It's not that I don't think that people should donate if they want to, because ultimately it is their money. Chantal, if you don't have money for a car, if you don't have money for an apartment, if you don't have money to go to Canada, you need to stay where you're at and work for it. Why should people give you any money? Anyways, rinse, lather, repeat. Here we are, Delulu. Thoughts, comments, dislikes, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate your time. Check out this other video that's popping up here. You may enjoy it, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, excuse me. I see you over there. I see you. You know Amberlynn Reid? Excuse me. Are you Amberlynn Reid's friend? Are you Amberlynn Reid's friend? Hey, are you paying the $4.99 or $5.99 in Amber's membership? Do you love Amberlynn Reid? You know Foodie Beauty? So you've been watching Foodie Beauty drama?